Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a birthday card to share with you featuring a digital stamp by Streamside Studios. Now, before coloring and everything can start, it's time to decide how you want your card to look. With digital stamps, for me personally, I use Microsoft Word most of the time because I make clean and simple cards, so I don't need to fuss a lot with digital images. I actually draw like a rectangle on top of the page. I clear the inside of the rectangle, and that way I know that I have an A2 sized panel before me, and then I start adding the images that I want to use for this card. Actually 2 images, and then the sentiment, which is included in this digital stamp. There are many images for this card. I reused the balloon 3 times. If you wanted to have the balloons to have another size, you can always just enlarge it on one side instead of everything together. So that's all up to you. I kept them as they are because I love the shape, and I added 3 of them. Also, I didn't add any strings to the balloons because that was going to be easier free-handed. So that's why I didn't do that. And then once I'm happy with placement, I remove that rectangle that I added ahead of time. And that way I can print it, die cut it however I need it to be, and just continue with my card. Now for the balloons, I first had no clue which color I was going to use, but I really love this blue combination. It's a grayish blue in my opinion, and it works for men and women. So it always makes me happy if I have a card that is not really gender specific, because this way I have so many possibilities or options whenever a birthday arrives. Also, I thought that I was going to do 3 different colors of balloons, but I ended up using the same combination just to keep it more clean and simple, I think. Also, I don't know really a ton of markers that go well with this combination, and I already had that yellow that I love for the duck, so I didn't want to reuse that color either. So I'm coloring the 3 of them, but as you can see, my first intention was to have the second balloon just with 1 marker less, but what to do with the third one, you know? So I end up just adding the same markers. I'm trying to keep the shadowing on the right side, and for the balloons, to keep it or to let it appear more rounded, I'm trying to keep a sliver right aside the darkest color, white, and then later on I will go over it with my lightest marker to let it appear rounded. Now, if that isn't really working, it's not that big of a deal. I'm also going to add white jelly roll pen details, so you can still like add things in yourself. So here we go, the final balloon, the one that is covered mostly. You can also do like balloons more see-through, but for that technique, I really suggest you watching other better crafters than me, because that's just too advanced for my for currently what I am capable of. So I'm almost done with the coloring. I must admit, for the strings, I was a bit afraid that I was going to mess it up, so I took a pencil first and started drawing in things. I wanted it to appear like, well, a bit random, a bit flowy as well, but I had to wiggle around a bit. This was my second attempt with the pencil. I could erase it, so that was really handy. I also wanted to have a few bows there at the balloons themselves, and then I darkened that string a tiny bit. This is a Copic Multiliner, but since everything is already colored in, you can take any black marker you have, and that will just work. Just take a thin one. I try to match the width of the images themselves. So to create my A2 size panel, I'm taking the basic rectangles by Mama Elephant, and I'm just going to die cut this panel out. This card is almost finished. It's crazy how quickly some things can go if you have an idea ahead of time. So I get the card makers that are planners, because, well, it will work. But whenever I use clear stamps, I really have an issue with planning ahead. Also with digital stamps, ton of time I just printed, but in this case, A Ducky Day, the digital stamp that I'm featuring today, has tons of images. You can print them all at once on a piece of paper and start fussy cutting, or you can decide yourself which ones you want to use, but that means planning ahead of time. So that's what I did here. So the panel is done. I'm going to add white jelly roll pen details. Again, something that there are better crafters at it than I, but I'm trying to get more used to it. And each time I have like these adorable images, I am trying to add them. So is there a logic in my way of adding? Not really, I think, except for the fact that I tend to add it to the darker areas, which is not that logical, but the white is the most visible on the darker part of the image, so that's actually why I add them mostly there. And then on the lighter areas, to also have some white jelly roll pen details, I often add a few on the outline of the image. For the rest, I don't think currently that there is any logic. I'm trying to not go overboard, but I'm trying to add more because there is always an option to add more, and it's really adorable, but that I'm still working on. So this is my card for today, featuring A Ducky Day digital stamp by Streamside Studios, and I'm really glad that I created it because this duck is so adorable along with all of the rest of the ducks in this amazing digital stamp. Go check it out. There is a link inside the description box towards the shop so that you can easily retrieve this gorgeous digital stamp. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some more crafting inspiration. Bye!